Hello and welcome to our video on the importance of saving for emergencies and how to get started. Emergencies can happen at any time, and it's essential to be prepared for them financially. In this video, we'll discuss why it's essential to have an emergency fund, how much you should aim to save, and some tips on how to get started. First of all, why is it essential to have an emergency fund? An emergency fund is a set amount of money set aside specifically for unexpected expenses or emergencies that may come up. These could include unexpected medical bills, car repairs, or even losing your job. Without an emergency fund, you may have to turn to credit cards or loans to cover these unexpected expenses, which can lead to high-interest debt that takes longer to pay off. Having an emergency fund can help you avoid this situation and give you peace of mind knowing that you have a financial safety net in case of an emergency. So, how much should you aim to save in your emergency fund? A good rule of thumb is to save enough to cover 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. These expenses include things like rent or mortgage payments, groceries, and utility bills. It may seem like a lot to save up, but it's essential to have a sufficient emergency fund to cover you in case of a significant emergency, such as losing your job or a medical emergency. By saving a little bit each month, you can slowly build up your emergency fund and be prepared for any unexpected expenses that may come your way. Now that we've discussed why it's essential to have an emergency fund and how much you should aim to save, let's talk about how to get started. First, make a budget. Look at your income and expenses and see how much you can realistically save each month. It's essential to be realistic here, as you don't want to overextend yourself and end up dipping into your emergency fund for non-emergency expenses. Next, open a separate savings account specifically for your emergency fund. This way, you won't be tempted to use the money for non-emergency expenses. It's also a good idea to set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your emergency fund account to make saving easier. Finally, don't be afraid to cut back on non-essential expenses. Look for areas in your budget where you can cut back, such as dining out or subscription services, and redirect that money to your emergency fund. Every little bit helps, and the more you can save, the better prepared you'll be for an emergency. In conclusion, saving for emergencies is essential to being financially prepared for unexpected expenses. By having a sufficient emergency fund, you can avoid high-interest debt and have peace of mind knowing that you have a financial safety net. By following the steps we've outlined, you can get started on building your emergency fund and be prepared for whatever life throws your way. Thanks for watching, and we hope you found this video helpful.